Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel or page, whatever you're following me on. We are doing the doggone thing. Okay, so it is day 3. We're prepping for day number 3 of the Love Dare series. Yes, day number 3 is tomorrow. So we're going to recap day number 2. For those of you who are new here, my name is Pastor Shakima. I have a women's ministry called First Love Ministries with Shakima Wilson. The Lord blessed me to be able to facilitate that ministry in 2014. He called me to ministry in 2012. It just took me a little bit of time to get my life together to believe that the Lord would call somebody like me. And so once I got myself together and I accepted the call of the Lord on my life, the ministry was birthed in 2014. You guys let me know, chime in the chat and let me know where you're viewing in from. Now, Instagram, I'm coming to you guys a little bit late. I was having some computer issues, but my computer issues are fixed. Hey, Ladybug, good to see you. Glad you're here. Now, here's the thing. I believe in marriage. I believe that marriage was God's idea. I believe that marriage is a good idea. I believe that there should be one wife and one husband. I believe that those people should have children if they so choose to populate the world. The Bible says, be fruitful and multiply. I have seen, however, where there have been a lot of people involved in the marriage between the husband and the wife. A lot of family gets involved. A lot of coworkers get involved. The husband or the wife find themselves having a work spouse. Hey, Cassandra from Bridgeport, Connecticut. The husband or the wife finds themselves having a work spouse, which gives you the false sense that everything is perfect at work, forgetting that that spouse does not go home with you when you go home, and they don't pay your bills. They don't deal with you when you're sick. None of those types of things. So I've seen marriage kind of it's fallen off over the years. I've also seen in the most recent past that people are just not getting married at all. They just put no stock in marriage. Social media has helped to diminish the meaning of marriage. I see a lot of women emasculating their husbands on social media. Very, very painful to watch, because what people don't realize is that there are women who out here doing it on our own, just waiting for a good man, right? We just waiting for a good man to show up, show us some attention, to be interested in us, and you have this person already at your house and you're not treating them properly. So about 10 years ago, I can't even remember the time frame exactly, I saw a movie called Fireproof. It was put on by the Kendrick brothers, Alex and Stephen Kendrick. And then they wrote a book called The Love Dare. So the book looks like this. It's called The Love Dare. And it's 40 straight days of dares that you do towards your spouse. Now, I do come at this from the woman's perspective, right? I'm not a man. I can't tell you what a man thinks. I can tell you how the man I was married to might have reacted to something that happened between us. But I'm not a male. I don't know how they think. I don't know what they feel. We all are human. We all have feelings, but it's very markedly different than it is for a woman. So I do my level best to try to give sound teaching. I try to give sound and sage advice. Someone said, if you've been divorced, you can't teach me about marriage. Well, here's what I think. If I am divorced and I've been divorced, I can teach you what not to do. Maybe I can't teach you how to be married since I'm not married, but I can teach you what not to do, what not to say, where not to go, who not to fellowship with, who not to invite into your marriage space. I can tell you those types of things. So I would ask that you just take what you can, glean from it what you can. And if it's not for you, listen, no worries. We haven't lost a thing, right? We still gonna be friends tomorrow. Very good. So now today, day number 2 was Love is Kind. It's an affection day. Your dare was in addition to not saying anything negative. So day 1, you could not say anything negative towards your spouse. No negative words. Remember, we talked about life and death is in the power of the tongue. So we're going to be quiet. I have a friend, her name is Celeste. She always says, study to be quiet, right? We talk a lot. We talk too much sometimes. So we're going to no negative words. And then the second thing you were going to do is you were going to do an unexpected gesture or an act of kindness towards your spouse. Now, did anybody get a chance to do that? So Instagram, I'm absolving you because y'all weren't in on this yesterday, but my YouTube people, did anybody get a chance to do an unexpected gesture, a random act of kindness towards your spouse? And how did you feel about it? Because the book said to do it, we do it, but you don't have any feeling behind it. You didn't want to do it. Maybe your heart wasn't in it. If you go back to the movie, if you have a chance to watch the movie, it's called Fireproof. The husband who was actually daring the wife, he gave a half-hearted effort the first time he went through it. By the time she found out he was doing it, she says, "What day are you on?" He said, 42. She said, "There's only 40 days." He said, "Well, I didn't give it my best effort the first time, so I'm doing it again." Right? Sometimes you have to do a do-over. That is just how life is. So anybody, any random acts of kindness? We talked about making their lunch. We talked about a massage without the expectation of anything in return. We talked about going to a place that they wanted to go that you don't want to go. Some people don't want to go to the grocery store. If you just went to the grocery store with your spouse, you cannot even imagine what that would do for her or him. Then we talked about the love notebook. Did you start the love notebook? Remember, you just get a simple notebook. Maybe you want to make it fancy. I don't know. And you just begin to pen love notes to your spouse. You just begin to, I think, as I'm going to do my notebook, I'm going to do a notebook to my husband. I'm actually already started, but I'm going to put pictures and little, make it colorful, all the things, right? I'm not artistic, but I can cut stuff out and I can paste it in. I can do all those types of things. But we want to do something that is going to show care and affection towards our spouse. And so what I said, if you do the love notebook, you want to make sure that it's in their car in the morning. So when they're on their way out, when they get to work, they'll see it. You don't want them to see you putting it in there. And at the end of the page, you want to say, hey, now, you want to say, please put this back on the kitchen counter when you're done. Oh, that's nice. She said, I put his clothes up for him. Very good. How he wants them put up, not how you want them done, but how he wants it done. That's very nice. For those of us who are maybe we're less likely to be housekeepers. We're not good housekeepers. Well, some of y'all, because I clean my house. But if you don't clean your house, can you imagine what a sink empty of dishes would do for your spouse? Can you imagine what it would be like for him to come home and the floor is vacuumed? There's no trash and stuff on the floor. Thank you so much. Glad to have you. Can you imagine what that would be like for your spouse to come home and dinner is already cooked or it's started, right? And they're not waiting 2 and 3 and 4 and 7 hours for you to decide that you forgot to thaw the meat out. Be forward thinking and have it already done, so that when they walk through the door, all they have to do is change clothes real quick and come sit down at the table. That's something that's special. It may not seem like a lot, but when it never happens, I promise you it's special to your spouse. So as we move throughout these days, we want to keep compounding the things that we're doing. But remember, that person that you're daring, they may not respond. They may not. This is not about their response more than it is about your heart and how you're doing it towards them. The love dare, the 40 days of love, is, I think, put together to change you. It's going to change something about you. You can't put yourself in this book and read the things and then do what it says towards that person and not change somehow. But again, we're going to talk about self, because we're selfish. So in order for it to work properly, the things about you have to not be as important, and we have to push forward our spouse and make them the most important person during these 40 days. Which brings us to day number 3. Day 3, love is not selfish. Now I'm frozen on Instagram. Okay, I'm back. Y'all be mindful that I am still having internet issues, and it's real internet issues today. So I will ask y'all for a smidge of grace. We have been dealing with this for a long time, but the Lord is faithful. We finally got the computer situated. Now the internet ain't acting right. Day number 3, love is not selfish. Day 3 is an attention day. I'm going to give my attention to my spouse some type of a way. If I go to, I don't have my Bible. Why don't I have my Bible? One of y'all children, one of my children that belong to me. Let me see if somebody can bring my Bible. Sorry, y'all. I got everything else over here, but not my Bible. All right. I'm going to see if I can find a verse in here because I know there are some in here. Okay. Here are my source verses. Now, if you did the marriage evaluation, so at the very beginning, like December 28th, I believe, I did the first prep video for the 40 Days of Love. And I ask you all to consider doing the marriage evaluation. Once you do the marriage evaluation, it's 35 questions, like multiple choice. You got to say you agree strongly or you strongly disagree. That's all you're doing, 35 questions. Once you complete it and hit submit, it then spits out a report. It has several categories that it's scoring you on. Attention is one, acceptance is another, affirmation is one, affection, allowing, apology, and abiding. So there are 8 key factors that you didn't do it. You can still go back and try. You can still go back and do it. Here's what the marriage evaluation does for you. It gives you a baseline. It tells you where you are. I had someone that is having some issues in their marriage take the evaluation. They didn't want to do it, but I asked them, I said, would you just do it for me? And 1,000 points is the highest you can get. And they got 160. No. Look here, get Mom's Bible. They got 164. That's 10%, not even 20% of themselves is in their marriage. That has to change. You can take that back. Thank you so much. That has to change. That can't be, if you're planning to stay married, you can't be at 164. Got to be at way more than that if you're planning to stay married. Now, I don't know what your plan is. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a part of the group. You can do it at any time. It's open. It's free. Just type in the Love Dare Marriage Evaluation into Google and it'll bring it up for you. You don't have to be a part of the group. Just see where you are, right? Give me a baseline. When I took it the last time, I took it from the perspective of being married before and seeing where my issues were. And I scored an 857. And there were still some areas and categories that I did not score well in. One of my areas that needed work was acceptance. I scored pretty low. I had 100, got 100. Attention, I got a 121. And then affirmation was a 136. Well, allowing and affection were 114. Those were kind of some of my lower scores. But it'll tell you you're doing well in this area. You're a little weak here. We might want to do something. And then it will give you verses for each of the days. It'll tell you which day is what. So today, tomorrow, day 3, is an attention day. Love is not selfish. My source verses are Philippians 2:4, James 1:19 and 20, Proverbs 24:3 and 4, Ephesians 5 and 33. Now, when you do the evaluation, all of that information pops up for you. It's not something that you have to go out and do. You just have to do the evaluation. And then all of that information will spit out for you. I am one who I like information. Give me data. Let me analyze so I can see where I am. I want to think that I'm way better and way farther along than I am, but the proof is in the score, right? I don't want him touching me. Okay, well, your affection is probably a little low. So you need to know where you are. So you'll need to know, you can formulate a plan on where you need to go. I want to lose 35 pounds. But if I don't know how much I weigh ahead of time, how will I know if I lost 35 pounds? I got to get on the scale. I don't want to do it, but I got to do it just so I can have a baseline of where I'm starting. And every day I get on the scale again. Why? Because I'm trying to see, am I moving towards my goal? Well, if I eat out every day, I'm not. So I don't eat out, I cook at home. It's the same with your marriage. You need to see where you are as a baseline. Once you see where you are as a baseline, then you can move forward. Okay, I'm going to move on. I hope day 2 went well for you. Thank you, Ladybug, for sharing what you were able to do. Day 2 was a random act of kindness towards your spouse. Day 3, love is not selfish. Now, here's the definition just from the internet of selfishness or selfish. This is talking about a person. This is an adjective describing a person, an action, or a motive. It's lacking consideration for other people, concerned chiefly with one's own personal profit or pleasure. It's all about me. It's me, mine. It's what I want. It's how I see it. It's through the lens of my eyes. It has nothing to do with you, especially if it's me getting my way over you getting your way. I don't really care if you get your way. I'm going to get my way. Happy wife, happy life, right? Wrong. When in those marriage vows, or where in those marriage vows did it say that you were the chief of things, the wife? I'm a passenger princess. Good. Sometimes your husband needs to be a passenger prince. You drive. I mean, maybe your husband ain't into that, but you can't expect them to give, and you never give anything back. That is exactly the society and the world that we live in today. It's all about what can I do for myself? It's my stuff, my time, me. How is that a partnership? Is it ever about your spouse, or is it always about you? So selfishness comes in and it robs you of the ability to esteem your spouse higher than yourself. Romans 12:10 was also another verse. Let me find it. Romans 12:10. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Give preference to one another in honor. Give preference to one another in honor. That's Romans 12:10. What that means when it says preference, it's choosing them before you choose you. I really want to go here, but they want to go somewhere else. So I'm going to prefer and go with them. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it for them. They did it for me last time. It's a give and take, right? Marriage is not always 50-50. Sometimes somebody is carrying the bulk of the load. But if we're doing it properly, it's not always about me. It's not always about him. It's about us. See, this is the thing about marriage. You have to go from I to us, from I to we. And some people say they want to be us and we, but they're always I. And it's never I in a marriage. It's us. It's our money. They're our kids, whether you had them or not. They're our kids. This is our house. These are our rules. These are our standards. Whatever it is, it's not mine. It's ours. Remember what I said when you go and get married, you bring your stuff to the table. They bring their stuff to the table. And you leave the table with whatever you all can agree on together. Because there's certain things I don't want to do that he is used to doing. No, that's not agreeable for me. Okay, but I can do this. I like number 1, I like number 3, and I like number 7. All that other stuff got to go. And he's like, well, on your list, I like this. Okay, this is what we can agree on. So now this becomes the standard for what we do together as we. All right, I'm going to move on. I'm reading just out of the book, and I'll give you some of my thoughts in just a second. Selfishness and love are in constant opposition with each other. If I loved you more than I loved me, then I would not be selfish. But that is not your natural tendency. The natural tendency is to self-protect, is to self-preserve, it's to keep yourself protected regardless of the other person. I promise you, if you were in some type of place and there was something that broke off really bad, you're trying to get yourself to safety. You ain't thinking about nobody else. The fight or flight response is get to safety. In the back end, you like, oh, where's Barbara? I forgot to get her, because we're so focused on getting ourselves to safety. So those things are always fighting each other. I love you, but not enough to let you do this thing that you feel is right. I love you, but I'm not about to let you do this to me. I love you, but I'm not about to let you spend this money. You love them, but you can't give an inch, nothing. They can't have anything. It's all about what you want. While love asks us to deny ourselves for the sake of someone else, selfishness compels us to focus on ourselves at their expense. And social media has become social media is good, but it's detrimental as well. I see so many couples lose their marriages over social media. It's too much. I've got to get my views up, so I have to do something mean towards my spouse. I have to do something that gets the attention of the people while I'm hurting my spouse, because I need to make this money. I need to make this bag. I need. What about what they need? Maybe they don't want to be on social media. Have you considered that? People ask me all the time, Shakim, if the Lord gave you a husband and he doesn't want you to be on social media, would you stop doing social media? My answer has been the same, and I pray that I can stand 10 toes down on this. I prayed for the husband. I didn't pray for social media. So if my husband asks me to give up social media for the sake of our privacy, I don't think that I could continue with social media. I would like for him to understand why I do what I do, but that would be something I can explain during the dating stage. Hey, this is what I do. This is the reason why I do it. But once we couple together and the two shall become one, if he says, hey, listen, this is hurting us, this is not helpful, I got it. You ain't got to worry about getting the bag. I already got the bag and it's full, right? Because I'm doing social media trying to get, trying to make extra income. I'm trying to motivate people, encourage. But if he got it, what's my excuse? I just want it because it validates who I am. I just want it because it puts me front and center. I'm the one in front of the camera, right? So you have to ask yourself, are you selfish or are you esteeming them higher than yourself? Selfishness tends to push us towards self-centeredness. Everything has to revolve around me. Have you ever seen those shows like Bridezilla, where the lady's getting married, but she's just nasty to everybody? This is my day. It's gonna be how I want it, and she just nasty to everybody. Is all of that necessary? It's really not your day, ma'am. It's y'all's day. The husband's like, well, I just let her do what she wants. I'm just gonna show up. Really, that should not be. We should be planning this wedding together. This is our union. This is our marriage. You don't just show up. No, you actively participate. You're involved here. Because if you let that person take the whole brunt of the plan, then they're not going to want your opinion no how. Period. No, I don't want to hear what you have to say. This is about me. All right, I'm going to move on. Selfishness says, I deserve, I expect, I want. Me. Not in marriage, or it shouldn't be that way in marriage. Again, Romans 12:10 says, be devoted to one another in brotherly love, give preference to one another in honor. If I go over to Philippians, I'm going to try to, my workspace is mighty small. Sorry, y'all. If I go to Philippians chapter 2, verse 4, everyone should look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interests of others. I'm not just looking out for me. If something catastrophic happens, I'm not just going to save me. I'm going to save us, or do my level best to save us. Ephesians 5:33 is another verse. You got to know what the word says about your marriage. We just want to get married because we hot and bothered. It's better to marry than to burn. Listen, let me tell you something. After all of that's over, you still got to live with that person. 5:33, to sum up, each one of you is to love his wife as himself, And the wife is to respect her husband. A lot of this selfishness that I see has the husband and wife at each other. They are at each other. Or one of them is so bad that the other one just don't even want to be around them. They just gone. They gone all the time. Because it's easier to live on the rooftop than in a house with a nagging wife. This is why didn't you get me this? Why didn't you do this for me? Why didn't you do this for me? I need. The man just go upstairs. Just go upstairs, take a blanket, and live on the roof. Child, it's too much. Here's the thing. All of us have selfish tendencies. Now, when we talk about selfishness, how many of you immediately thought to all of the faults of your spouse? That's the naturalness of wanting to protect me. He's worse than I am. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn after my divorce was that it was not all my ex-husband's fault. I had my part to play. There were things about me and my personality and things I were not willing to give. There were things I wasn't willing to budge on. And it ended up in the dissolution of our marriage. So the hardest thing I had to swallow was he wasn't the only one that was wrong. I was wrong too. And that's rough, especially when you think you haven't done anything wrong. But we can call to mind every single fault of our spouse, can we not? Of course we can. I know exactly what you did. I know when you did it. I know all the things. I know the time. I know who was involved. But the Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians that love does not remember a wrong. 1 Corinthians, let's go there. Shall we? We shall. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13. That's the love chapter. If you don't know no other chapter, you might want to learn that one. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Let's start at verse 1. Let's start at 4. We'll go to 4. 4, love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, love is not boastful, is not conceited, does not act improperly, is not selfish, is not selfish. Love is not selfish. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. It is not selfish, is not provoked. You angry all the time. Love does not provoke people to wrath. The Bible says a kind word turns away wrath. If you mad all the time, you're going to have to figure out why you're angry. What are you angry about? What's the deeper issue? Because I know these surface issues got you upset. It can't be your cycle every time. That's only 7 days out the month. You angry every day. What is the problem? And that's some inner self work that you have to do to figure it out. It does not keep a record of wrongs. If all the time you bringing up stuff they did, when you say you forgive somebody, you have to let it go. It's done. Don't bring it up again. Can't bring it up again because you forgave it, right? Love finds no joy in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for languages, they will cease. As for the knowledge, it will come to an end. But the only thing that will never come to an end is love. John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life, right? It was all about love. Here's what he said on page 11 that I believe. He said, marriage exposes our selfishness in living color. You are now going from living by yourself in your space where you can have your clothes where you want, all the things, right? It's really difficult, especially when one of the spouses have to move into each other's homes. So I have a rule. This is a rule for me. I am not planning to let my husband live here. And I don't want to go live with him. I want us to find our space because this is my house. Everything in here is where I want it. Everything in here says me. He's going to try to cram his stuff in my little tiny closet, and I'm going to be mad because his stuff is in my way. No. What we're going to do is I'm going to take the equity out of this home. And if he owns a home, he'll take the equity out of his home, or we'll get a loan, or whatever the case is. And we're going to buy something that's ours. Then there is no possession over it. It belongs to both of us. And we're starting fresh. Make sense? I hope so. All right. Here's the thing. He says, when a husband puts his interests, his desires, and priorities ahead of his wife, he is flying a flag that he is selfish. When the wife constantly complains about the time and energy she spends meeting the needs of her husband, she is revealing her selfishness. Here's the thing. Boasting, bragging, that's all about you. The things you did, and we're posting it now on social media. I'm posting what I did for my spouse on social media. That's so you can get likes and applause. It's not going to do nothing for your spouse. This is all about you. Look at my outfit. Look at my new hair. I got my nails done. We got a new car. Blah, blah, blah. Because you want to be seen. Selfish people talk too much. They don't know how to let somebody else talk. They always got to be the center of attention. Now, I'm not saying that your extroverted personality makes you selfish, because some of us are extroverted. Others are introverted. We get that. But if they can never get a word in edgewise, why? Why can't they? Why won't you esteem them to be able to say something? And the truth is, we're all selfish. At some point, we're all selfish. You got a headache 3 days out the week, selfish. You want it every day and won't give her no break, selfish. I know your bodies don't belong to you, but I mean, you can't be out here hunching 7 days a week. Good God. Come on now. What is we doing? I mean, maybe you can. Y'all young people, I don't know. Check. Here's the thing. You have to decide. I'm either going to love my spouse selflessly, or I'm going to be selfish. Those are the only two choices that you have. Going back to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5, love does not seek its own. It beautifully finds its satisfaction in the welfare of others. How will this make my spouse feel? If I do this random act of kindness, I don't want to go to the dump. Remember, we talked about Miss Wanda going to the dump yesterday. I don't want to go to the dump with my husband, but that's going to make him feel so good to have me riding with him to his favorite place. I'm going to the dump. I don't want to go to the dump. But I'm esteeming my husband. It's going to make him feel a type of way. And when you do that, when you meet them where they are, what they usually end up doing is they end up doing something for you, right? Because now they say, oh man, she did this for me. What can I do for her? So it's really that give and take, that ebb and flow of relationship. Hey now, how are you? It's that ebb and flow, that give and take of relationship. That's what it should be. Choosing to love your mate will cause you to say no to what you want and yes to what they need, right? Go back. Choosing to say yes to your spouse will cause you to say no to what yes to what they need. That's why you have to have a discerning spirit. You need to know your spouse. How many of you, don't put in the comments, but think about it in your mind. How many of you study your spouse? I mean, honestly, study your spouse. You know what they like, what they don't like. You know their drink order. You know their favorite meal. You know everything about them. You know when they back hurt. You know just by how they walk in, something is off. You know if they make a specific sound, you know exactly. You have to know your spouse to know what they need. When that man has had a full day and the weight of the world is on his shoulders, he don't need to come home to a headache. He needs to come home to lingerie. I'm telling you, it might not change the problem, but it's going to make him feel better. Okay? And we got to be willing. Maybe you can't in that one exact moment because you got the kids, but get the kids in bed early. Get the kids in bed early and then handle the business that needs to be handled. That's what we need to. I don't want to do it, but they need it done. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what love does. And when we get to that point where we're loving our spouse into what they need, it's a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother level. Because I promise you, if we're giving them what they need, they're in turn going to give us what we want. All right, moving on. I gotta go. Let me see. Unselfish people are a delight. Unselfish people generally tend to be a delight to other folks. Okay, I'm gonna move on over here. They make amazing friends and spouses. Unselfish people make amazing friends and spouses. Let me see. Am I unselfish? I don't know. I don't have a spouse, so I might be selfish. Let me get myself together. Very good. They are willing to set their own jealousies and demands aside and lose themselves in the joy of loving, serving, and giving to another. Remember when Jesus was sitting with the disciples and he said he was about to wash their feet, and they were like, "No, you can't wash my feet." And Jesus said, "I didn't come to be served, but to serve." See, we should be serving like Jesus served. And I get it, he was Jesus, but we're created in his image. We should have the nature and characteristics that he has in human form. That doesn't mean you're a doormat for people. It means that you learn how to serve and when to serve. I was at my grandmother passed away. My grandmother passed away 2 weeks ago, and last week I was at the funeral. I was at the before the funeral, the Friday night before the Saturday funeral. We had people in the home. People came to my grandmother's house, and we were doing fish. Now, I have a gift of hospitality. It is nothing for me. When I see folks coming in, I'm putting chairs out. I'm trying to make sure that everybody got some beverages to drink. We got fish coming off the grease hot. I'm trying to make sure plates is fixed. I got 4 plates. I got my gloves on. I'm fixing. I'm handing out. And one of the ladies, she just comes over and she just hugs my neck, and she just absolutely, her mom told me on Sunday, she said, "My daughter just fell in love with you and your hospitality." Jesus teaches us how to serve, not just the people outside of your home. Everything on the inside of the 4 walls should get your first service. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Your family, your spouse, especially if you don't have children, your spouse should get your first service. And if you do have children, your spouse should still get your first service. Here's the thing: you married them, not your kids. I married my husband, not my kids. And my kids eventually are going to leave me. And I pray that when they leave, the husband don't go, because I've learned to serve him well. And because I serve him well, he says, "Listen, this woman over here, she doing me right. I'm not going nowhere." When you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, 9 times out of 10, that spouse isn't going anywhere, because they realize that there's nowhere else I can go to get this treatment. There ain't nowhere else I can go. There's not another woman on this planet that's going to do for me what this one does for me. See, you want to be the talk of the town where your husband is concerned. You go back to the Proverbs 31 woman. Thank you, Holy Spirit. The Bible says in Proverbs 31, I'm paraphrasing it, go back and look up for yourself, that the husband is known at the city gates because of what his wife does. She behind the scenes doing all the stuff. She buying land, she cooking food, she making sure the service is doing stuff, the house is clean, the kids is acting right. She's doing all of those types of things. Go back and look in your life and see what is not exactly Proverbs 31. If your house is tore up, you're selfish. Well, what does my house have? Being clean have to do it. Me being selfish. Well, why is it not clean? Well, I had a headache, or my back was hurting, or I've just been sick. Selfish. Get up off of your behind, especially if that man working to let you stay home. He works and lets you stay home, ma'am. Shouldn't be a speck of dirt, dust nowhere. That's my personal opinion. Let me not put that on other people. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm just saying, the Proverbs 31 woman knew exactly how to serve her husband. It doesn't mean she was always with him. She served well, and his name was known at the gates. What you do is going to give you a reputation, and your husband is going to be associated with that reputation. Child, you seen Bobby wife? Yeah, girl, she be out here doing blah, blah, blah. Yeah, girl. Honey, you going to get talked about one way or the other. If it was me, I'd rather be talked about in the positive than the negative. That's just me. Probably selfish, I'm sure. I don't want people to think bad things about me. But I'm going down the list of things to try to serve my spouse. I got to keep moving. Here's the thing. The last thing he says before I move into the dare, because I want to get to that. If you find this day's challenge hard to swallow and are frustrated with the idea of sacrificing your own desire to benefit your spouse, then you may have a deeper problem with selfishness than you want to admit. Ask yourself these three questions. If tomorrow, what you're doing for tomorrow is hard and you like, Lord, I don't want to do this. Ugh. If you just can't wrap your mind around this service tomorrow, ask yourself these three questions. Question number one, do I truly want what's best for my spouse? Husband or wife, whichever one, because I don't know who's watching. Do I really and truly want what's best? Number two, do I want them to feel loved? Do I want what's best? Do I want them to feel loved? Do they believe I have their best interests in mind? If you were to think about your spouse right now, would they say, my wife or my husband has my best interests at heart? Could they say that about you? Now, I don't know the answer to that. I'm not married to you. But could they say it? And the final question is, do they see me as looking out for myself first and or them first? Who's first? Who would they tell you is first? Okay. It's hard to love a selfish person, but it's hard for them to love you too. We get it. All of us have the tendency towards selfishness. If it's going to cause me pain, I don't want it. But I'll gladly take the pain for you if I could. See what I'm saying? See, we'll do that for our children all day long. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Listen, you'll take the pain for your children all day long, but you wouldn't jump in front of nothing for your spouse. Oh, no, he's a man. He could take it, blah, blah, blah. He probably could. But a selfless act would be for you to take it for him. Yeah, you don't have to take on this by yourself, babe. We in this together. Yeah, I understand that you the man and you gonna protect the family and all that. But listen, I got your back. Take on some of that burden with him. You may not be able to change anything, but give him a safe space to be able to come and articulate what he's feeling. See, sometimes people just want to be safe to say what they need to say. They don't need you to fix it. They just want to be heard. Women want to be heard. Men too. Again, I can't come at you from the male perspective. I don't know. I'm doing my best to help you brothers out. But women, we want to be safe. I know the biggest priority in my life to finding a spouse outside of him loving Jesus, that is number one. That ain't even on the list because that's a given, is for him to make me feel safe. Because very few times in my life have I ever felt safe. And if you can't make me feel safe, then I don't want any parts of you. But imagine that they haven't ever felt safe. So maybe you become their safe place. You can't be a safe place for everybody, but you can be a safe and soft landing pad for your spouse. Very good. Okay. Philippians 2:3, going back to that verse one more time. Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourself. Go back and read it again. Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourself. Your dare for tomorrow, day number 3, is this. Whatever you put your time, your energy, and your money into will become more important to you. I'm not going to spend my money on stuff that's not important to me. No, I don't have no money out here to be wasting. It's hard to care for something you are not investing in. Along with refraining from no negative comments. So tomorrow, no negative comments. Remember, if you need a timeout, you need to go get yourself together. You need to go have a prayer meeting with Jesus. Just excuse yourself before you open up your mouth and say stuff. No negative comments. And tomorrow, you're going to buy your spouse something that says, I was thinking about you. You're going to come up with some coins from somewhere. Shakima, my budget is tight. I get it, sis. Take it out your grocery money. Take it out your grocery budget. Take it out your out to eat money. Take it out your nail money. Listen, this is one day out of 40. You just got to get through 40 days. That's a month and 10 days. You can sacrifice something. You can sacrifice a little something. It doesn't have to be something big. But you do have to give your money towards it. You cannot expect a return where you did not first invest. You understand that, right? I can't expect you to give me something back if I didn't first give you something. And here's the thing with that expectation, if you give it away, why are you expecting to get it back? I gave it to you. Give it without the expectation that they're going to do something for you in return. But if they do something for you in return, be grateful. Because remember, you're the one who's doing the dare towards them. Now, I didn't say this in the very beginning, and I'm going to say it now because I feel like we're okay. You don't have to broadcast to your spouse that you're daring them. Do it in secret. One thing that he said in here is when you stop being selfish and start being selfless, people notice. Because self-centered people, conceited people, selfish people, we know you. When you stop making everything about you, we got our eye open. Honey, you was getting some serious side eye. Because I'm sleeping one eye open. I don't know what you got planned for me. You're not about to get me out here in no trick bag. So you want to be able to do things where people now see you in a different light. They're going to notice. So we're not broadcasting, well, I'm love daring you and you ain't even trying to respond. That's not what we're doing. We're not going to broadcast what we're doing. We're just going to do it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So tomorrow, again, whatever you put your time, energy, and money into will become important to you. It's hard to care for something you are not investing in, along with refraining from your negative words. We've talked about that now for the last 3 days. Negative words, life and death in the power of the tongue. Stop talking. Some of us talk too much. I was out with a friend the other night, and we had been chatting the whole time. We were just out at the mall and hanging out, whatever. And we got to another place, and I probably was tired, right? But I had said all I needed to say. And I'm a chatterbox. I talk all the time. It's very rare that I'm not talking. And they said to me, "What's on your mind? You okay? What's going on?" And I said, "Nothing." And I later had the text. I said, "Listen, there are times when I have said all I needed to say. My word quota is up. I'm quiet. That's not normal for me because all I do is talk. I talk for a living. I talk for ministry. I talk when I'm teaching. All I do is talk. So it throws people off their game when I'm not talking. If all you do is negative talk, stop talking. If you don't know how to control your mouth, don't talk. If you know if you open it up, something's going to come out crazy, don't talk. And when they say, "You okay?" "I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, nothing wrong. Good." And you're going to train yourself to grab all of those life-ending words, right? Because power of life and death is in your tongue. And sometimes we say stuff and we cut folk deep. We cut them deep. You cut them so deep you can't mend that back. It takes years sometimes to repair the things we did with our mouths, with the words we said. I think about that. I'm not perfect, but I do know when to shut up. I didn't always. And I was a fire starter. I would open up my mouth and say anything. You're not about to have the last word on me. No, sir, indeed. And then the Lord taught me some stuff. And so I have learned to be quiet. The Bible tells us be quick to listen and slow to speak. Alrighty, you guys, there it is. Thank you so much for stopping by. I want you to like the video, share, subscribe, invite a friend. Y'all, you know people who have marriages that are in trouble. It's not just your marriage. You know many, many people because y'all sit around and talk about it. Stop talking about it and start doing something about it. How about that? Be a woman of action, not a woman of talking. There's enough of us out here. Why don't you do something to save your marriage, something to salvage your marriage? Well, my marriage is beyond repair. The Bible says in Philippians 1:6 that he is faithful and just to complete that in you which he began a good work until Jesus come. Until he cracked the sky, you still got time. Period. I don't want to be this type of wife. Then what type of wife do you want to be, and be that? Start making your steps. I'm not going to be 35 pounds lighter tomorrow, but I'm going to be a couple ounces. I'm going to get my water. I'm going to get my walking in. I'm going to get my steps. Whatever the case is, Start moving towards that thing which you want to be. Does that make sense? I hope it made sense. I was a little bit shorter tonight, but that's okay. So you're going to be day number 3. Love is not selfish. Tomorrow night, we're prepping. Love is thoughtful. Day 4, love is thoughtful. So you're doing your day tomorrow. Join me back here tomorrow night so that we can prep for the next day. So we're one day ahead. So tomorrow you're doing day 3. Very good. All right, I love you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like the video, share, subscribe. Don't forget to follow and do all the things, and we'll see you again tomorrow night. Bye, everybody. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Bye, everybody. See y'all later. See y'all later.